In these trying times, one may find solace in sitting back, reflecting, and writing. As schools were hurriedly canceled, I instructed my U.S. history students to read a history book of their choice and to write a journal or diary while we were all on virus break. I told them I had once watched a historian who mentioned that as people look back and study, there will be enough photos, stories, and documentation of celebrities. However, what the bulk of Americans are not celebrities. The historian urged regular people to jot down their thoughts, feelings, observations, whatever, in a daily journal. The journal's entry length didn't matter, and years later, readers would be informed of what was important at the time. In my own life, my great-grandmother, born poor and raised on tenant farms in northern Arkansas, looking for a better life, as did so many others, arrived in the industrial Midwest, Michigan, in 1929. She and her husband Cleve secured factory jobs and began their own farm. Grandma Carrie Snyder later used to clean offices at Albion College. At the end of December, when the administrators discarded their outdated yearly planners, she grabbed the best one, crossed out the previous year's date, wrote in the current year, and began her diary. Each day, Carrie noted the temperature and weather conditions at sunrise, as farmers do. Carrie jotted a few concise sentences. A woman with little formal education, she peppered her entries with words spelled as they sounded to her ear.
50 this morning. Sure did storm last night. Sudie and LaRue stayed all night. We didn't have the TV on, the lightning was so bad. Lights was out for 2 hours. It rained awful hard, only got up to 60. Man came to fix our tractor. Got more corn planted.
When Carrie passed away in 1971, my Aunt Marlene typed the diaries but kept Carrie's creative spelling for posterity's sake. In Williamston, Leon Webb, who was born and raised and farmed between Sherwood Road and the Red Cedar River, recorded his thoughts in a diary from 1895 until the 1920s. Family lore has it that Leon had to quit school following his 8th grade year when his father suddenly died, and somebody had to run the farm. His daily paragraphs were a microcosm of this country's rural lifestyle a century ago. Cooler, rained a little, walked bean ground for 1/2 hours, then ate 2 slices of bread for breakfast, and went to Mrs. Morris's funeral. She was 87th the 19th day of last April. Ma and Mrs. Branch went to Dansville, stayed or expected to stay with Randall Whipple, sick today. Webb's diaries are now in the possession of the Williamston Depot Museum and were also digitally scanned for posterity. Now back to my classroom. When I suggested a diary might be a good idea, by their expressions, some students seemed intrigued, while others rolled their eyes. And some were still probably looking at their cell phones and hadn't heard me in the first place. Then I said, "This diary thing worked for one girl your age many years ago." Anne Frank. That secured some additional nods of approval. Posterity. So there you have it. I am Mitch Lutzke. See you around.